Hello and welcome back to my channel. We will be going over Rachel Oates part 2, where she was interviewed by Black Wolf Company, a creator I do like. And I think when he had a Twitter, he did follow me, which automatically gets him brownie points in my book. But I did have some issues, so let's get into it.
Alright, hope you know I'm trying to see you talk back. Alright, 6 figures for the whip. No chance, you catch me down.
So the video starts, well, not the video, the interview, because the video is quite long. I would suggest watching it. He is pretty fair. I just took issue with this part of it. Excuse me. But it talks about how she just got out of one of her dramas, and this was where she thought YouTube was shadow banning her, where she did the podcast, she did the high school fucking bullies, where that meme comes from. So let's take a look.
After the podcast debacle, Gabby took a much needed break from the internet. She would later return in September with an appearance on Drama Alert where they kind of discussed what's happening. People found an issue with this because she is so anti-drama that it was pretty ironic she was making an appearance on a show dedicated to it.
Oh god, that argument. Oh, how are you so anti-drama? And then you went on a show called Drama Alert. She's anti-drama against her, just like any normal person is. I'm anti-drama when I'm involved. But boy, do I love looking at, watching, and sometimes participating in drama that doesn't revolve around me.
My analysis is that she was just trying to get people to listen to her side of the story, and she would take any opportunity to do so. In February of this year, she did a face-to-face podcast with Trisha where she literally ranted to them for an hour straight. It's like a broken record on repeat. Then in late April, she started again. Thanks to Defamation Doodles, I found this clip supporting my theory.
I'm not just doing this for attention. I'm getting the attention so that I can just tell my story and move on.
Which I don't understand why people really had an issue with that. Isn't that what most people do? You know, when they feel like they've been lied on and taken out of context, do they not make a big deal about defending themselves? So, I don't know. You tell me, am I simplifying it too much? I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm always up for, I don't know, discussion?
However, what she did to get attention was to direct abuse towards someone who, in all honesty, didn't do much other than providing actual critique on her poetry.
Yeah, I take quite a bit of issue with that statement, because that's not all Rachel Oates did, is it? You neglected to mention all the other videos, the response to Gabby's response, the quote-unquote parody book, the Twitter rant where she put Gabby at the center of something that had very little to do with her. I don't know. I guess we just, when it comes to Rachel Oates, we just ignore those things because it's Rachel Oates and she's just so sweet.
In fact, it was a critique from more than 6 months earlier. A critique which she had invited when she sent the critic her book.
Yeah, so I did this review, like, completely from this place of, like, you know, I have respect for her asking me this. I think we're in a good place. I'm just going to review it fairly and, you know, as I normally would. And I did that.
Okay, so now I'm starting to see something here that I wasn't thinking about when I first saw this. And I've watched it a few times. But I just thought about something. People are oversimplifying what Rachel did. They're oversimplifying Rachel's impact on Gabby's life. And for what? Because she's sweet and nice? I don't understand. But that's what they're doing. They're oversimplifying it. Oh, she, you know, just reviewed a book. Oh, she just did this. Oh, she had very little impact on Gabby Hanna. But if that was the case, if Rachel's impact on Gabby Hanna was so small then how come Jimmy got canceled? Just a question.
Rachel Oates is a British-based YouTuber who dabbles in the likes of social commentary and book reviews, which includes the material created by other YouTubers. She's made many videos critiquing Gabby's poetry, including 4 videos on her adultolescence book and a response to a response on the criticism.
Again, like, really, like, let's not talk about the parody book. Let's not talk about all the videos she did on Dandelion. Like, what? Are you serious? As I love this narrative that all Rachel did was review her Gabby Hanna's book. All Rachel did was give her a fair and honest, albeit bad, review on her book. Because that's not all Rachel did. But we'll get into it.
But the one video that spared any real issues was the one about Gabby's newer book, Dandelion. Rachel's then friend, Jimmy Snow, messaged her when she released the video to tell her to think twice about doing so. Unbeknown to Rachel, Jimmy and Gabby were friends.
He said that Gabby had gone to him and was like really upset that I was going to be making another video about her book. And I was like, but she asked me to.
I know I'm not doing face cam, but if you can see just how far my eyes rolled to the back of my head. Ugh, she didn't. She didn't ask you to review it. I doubt she even asked you to review the first one. Why must we go with that narrative? It's not she asked you. She didn't ask you for shit, woman. All she asked, the only thing she actually asked you to do was give her your address so that she can send you the book. She asked you if she could send you the book. She didn't say, can I send you the book so that you can review it? She didn't say, hey, review my book. So Rachel Oates, oh, God, this one thing that you think is such a throwaway comment is the thing that people use against Gabby in regards to you. So your little throwaway comment that, but she asked me to, that's a lie and is bullshit, has become such a big piece of the Gabby Hanna drama history. And it's horrible.
Like, and I didn't understand it. And there was like a whole thing. And I think there's just like misunderstanding and miscommunication on like lots of sides.
Confused, she tweeted about her predicament, leaving Jimmy anonymous. However, he inferred it was about him and then ensued a very messy public display, which include various creators like Creature Watch and Ready to Glare. Unbeknown to everyone involved, Rachel was dealing with some domestic issues.
The point is I was in this like absolutely messy state and I just like let it all out in like emotional vomit on Twitter. And I wrote this like big document. I'm like, I'm sorry I misunderstood and I didn't know what to do. And now I just feel manipulated out of it. And it was a mess. And I was an absolute wreck.
Oh no, you're an absolute wreck because a couple thousand people were saying stuff to you, and about 5 of them were against you. Oh, those 5 people, they're so horrible. God. Thank God Gabby doesn't have to deal with anything like that. And also, I was an emotional wreck, and just word vomiting on Twitter. What? Isn't that, something that's you can't use and it's an excuse? I understand. Now don't cancel me for this. And listen. I understand that what she was going through must have been horrible. But she can't place that on the back of Gabby. Or on the back of anybody, except for the person that said horrible things to her. I don't know.
Jimmy told me Gabby was upset about the video coming out, but he didn't know that Gabby had asked me to review it.
She never asked you to review it. She never asked her to review it. What the fuck is this woman's problem? Oh my God, for someone who is so bad at communicating. So many things.
And when Jimmy kind of asked me to think twice about posting the video, he didn't know that the video was already out. But no one knew that the other people didn't know this stuff at first, and it all got very emotional and very messy and all this stuff.
6 months have passed and Rachel hasn't heard from Gabby or Jimmy.
All of a sudden, my phone just starts blowing up with notifications. I'm like, what is this? And I see like a few, like Gabby's tagged me in like 5 Instagram stories, and they're like screenshots of her like kind of calling me out for this poetry stuff. And I was a bit like, what the hell is this?
I don't know. Maybe it's the same as when you tag Gabby in 4 or 5 videos, right? Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're not trying to see what little hand we had in this. I don't know.
Gabby released posts across multiple platforms, with her sole target being Rachel.
Like, and so I said to her what like other people said to me, and I was like, you know, step away from the internet, go be with your family and friends, get some help, you know. And I thought like that might actually encourage her to get off the internet. And
Like how it encouraged you to get off Twitter when you were going through your drunken rampage on there? Really? You thought that would help? Did it help you? Let's ask ourselves. Let's take a moment. Let's ask ourselves, did it ever help me? Because Rachel, I'm so sorry to inform you, but almost immediately people were like, get off, log off, take some time, don't react right now. And you, if I remember correctly, spent another like 3 or 4 hours reacting, not taking that time, not logging off. So I mean, really, glass houses, man. Yeah.
I just like blocked her because I was like, I don't want to be tagged in this stuff. I don't want to get into it backwards and forwards. And then the next thing I know, like everyone's talking about it and I'm getting all these messages from people and I was just way over my head. Yeah, so all this stuff happened and then all of a sudden like I'm just getting hundreds of comments on, it was a photo of Kyra wearing a scarf that I crocheted. Hundreds of comments of like things from her fans saying like, oh, you should go kill yourself. I hope your dog dies. Like all these people saying horrible stuff about me and the little one. And
oh no, hundreds? Oh my. Oh God. I wonder if Gabby can relate. Oh, probably not, because hers are in like the thousands, so maybe she can't relate to your hundreds, you know. But this isn't about Gabby and what she goes through. This is about Rachel and what Rachel went through. Because like, fuck Gabby, right?
And I was like, crap. And it hurt and it was horrible. And I was like mostly, I know, it's okay. I was mostly just like blocking the people doing that and trying to like delete the comments because I don't want to see that stuff.
Of course you don't. Who wants to see that shit, right? Nobody. But it's just so funny that it's such a big deal for you when in reality you caused a bunch of people to go after Gabby and Jimmy because you took an assumption and posted it publicly as fact. But, you know, fuck Gabby and fuck Jimmy, right? Like, you have nothing to do with that. Like, any hate that they get has nothing to do with you. So shame on them for sending people, quote unquote, sending, by the way, people to go and hate on you. Like, I just have so many opinions about this.
As a result of this targeted harassment, Rachel's Instagram was suspended due to a terms of service violation. It was clear Gabby's fans had mass flagged her account, and it was gone.
Oh, boo-hoo. Your one account got mass flagged. Holy shit. I mean, also, is it clear? I don't know. Because I haven't seen any proof for why Instagram deleted your account. I haven't seen what exactly they said about it or what caused it. It just poof went away. So who's to say that your account went bye-bye because you deleted it, just like you deleted your Twitter. I mean, that's gods of speculation, as the great lawyer commentator Emily D. Baker would say.
You know, that's like my main social media at this point, because I don't have Twitter or anything anymore. Like, I don't use Facebook, I don't have anything, so Instagram's like my thing. It's got all my photos of Kobe Bear on, this baby and stuff, and I was just stressing out about that.
I love how it's such a big deal, and it's so horrible that this happened to her. And yet, the only reason Gabby is safe from all of that is because she experienced all of that, and they had to unban her, unblock her. And thank God nobody is making a petition with hundreds of thousands upon millions of signatures to deplatform Rachel Oates, right? Because, gosh, wouldn't that just suck?
After this, everything quietened down for a few days.
And then James Marriott released his video. Give him credit, he took the video down and he kind of vaguely apologized, so good. But the way he characterized me in that video really upset me.
I wish I would have watched James Marriott's video before he took it down, but I didn't. So if any of you guys know where I can find a re-upload, let me know in the comments. I would love to watch it. I don't know why he took it down. Like, actually, wait. I do. The same reason Jimmy had to take down his first video about Rachel, because all the Gabby haters harassed and bullied him into it. Oh, but not poor Rachel, right? Because that's what this is about. It's not about any of the other victims of Rachel. It's about Rachel and what happened to her, okay? Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, well, Gabby can't be mad at any of us. Because I think, yes, Gabby can be upset at someone making vomiting noises at her poem, but not at someone offering like thoughtful critique. They're not the same.
Again, we see Rachel Oates in her natural habitat minimizing exactly what she did to Gabby. It wasn't just the critique, woman. It was the many critique videos, the multiple, okay? It was the parody book. It was the, I'm going to react to Gabby Hanna reacting to me. You see that? When it comes to, oh God, so many. This video can go on for 3 hours about my issues with Rachel Oates.
And, you know, he called me something like someone obsessed with Gabby's personal life. And I'm like, I've never spoken about her personal life, ever. I made one throwaway comment in a video about how one of her poems seemed hypocritical. And that's about it. And it upset me a bit. And that was followed up like the next day by Gabby basically like tweeting out about how one of her fans had taken like a clip from one of my videos out of context. And
no, not someone saying that you're big ol' meanie getting on her personal life, even though you just said, I never did it. But I mean, I did it, but I never did it. You know what I mean? And then, I'm sorry you got taken out of context. I have, 556 or 560 subscribers now? And already I know that I could be taken out of context at any time. It's not a go cry home to mommy kind of big deal. Okay, thank you. Welcome to the internet. Has Gabby not had that done to her almost every time? Okay? Like, so, you know, you play with Gabby, then people are going to play with you the same way people play with Gabby. You kind of get it? You got, yes? All right, cool.
apparently then she went and spoke about it in a live stream as well, saying that apparently everything Gabby said about me was justified because I called her a bitch first. And then they edited this clip of me making a joke and calling myself a bitch. And they literally like cut it and said that I was saying it about Gabby. And Gabby like liked this and like replied to it and then like started speaking about it in a live stream. And that all kind of like properly freaked me out because I was like, well, now if Gabby's doing that and all it takes is for someone big, again, like James Marriott, to see it and then put it in a video and it goes out to all these people and they don't do their own research, they don't watch the full videos. Like, that makes me look bad when I didn't actually do those things. And it kind of freaked me out a bit and upset me a bit.
Oh, good Lord. Rachel, if this has never happened to you before and this is your reaction to this, then just quit. Just quit your channel now. Just stop. Just stop. Close it all down. Because that's gonna happen when you're a YouTuber. Not even just a YouTuber. You can be a fucking reality TV star and it's gonna happen. People are like, what the fuck? And because they're not gonna do their own research. It's, you know what? It's not the people that you think you're talking about that you have to worry about. It's the people that made videos defending you about your situation that you have to worry about. T channels?
And yeah, that's like it screwed me over a bit, and I backslid a bit.
She told me the effect this had on her, and frankly, this has gone too far.
Sorry to interject, but what about the effect that what Rachel did had on Gabby? Do you think that was a little bit too far? And let me remind you, please, let me remind you, it's not Rachel versus Gabby. It's Rachel, T channels, so-and-so, 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 all of their followers, all of their subscribers versus Gabby. So anytime someone else lines up on the other side against Gabby, they bring their army along with it. So it's like 5 kingdoms against 1. You know what I mean? Like, think of Troy. So Troy is Gabby, and all the Greeks are all the other people. Okay? So, like, gone too far? Bitch, please. What happened to Rachel is nothing compared to what pretty much any other YouTuber goes through. Like, cry me a fucking river.
It messed me up a bit.
Sorry.
Like, yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
It's so stupid to get upset about stupid internet stuff.
I mean, we say that, but then you've got to remember these are people with like massive platforms. This is a lot of people that's coming at you. And you're not really one of these people that's engaging with her at all. Because you're not a drama channel.
No.
And that's who she's kind of usually hell-bent on taking out. You're an actual critic of her work.
I beg to differ. I'm sorry, but why in the ever-loving creep show art needs to come back so I can make more content? God, are we minimalizing what Rachel did? She's not just a critique of Gabby's work. Because if that was the case, all that would be on her channel are just critiques of Gabby's fucking work. You don't make parody books followed by a video of you and your dog making that parody work if all you do is critique. Are you fucking serious? That is not a critique. And I am sorry as well, but you might think, oh, it was just, it was like an inspiration. I just used her book as inspiration. It's not like, it's a parody, but it's not mean. If somebody that you don't like or that doesn't like you makes a parody of anything about you, it stands to reason you're gonna take issue with it. It stands to reason that it will be seen as insulting. Oh, but wait, no, I'm sorry. Assuming things and then, making them fact, only Rachel's allowed to do that. Nobody else is allowed to assume her parody book was insulting. No, you can't say that. It's not insulting. It's a parody. It wasn't malicious at all. Even though Gabby didn't like me and I had issues with Gabby prior to making it. I mean, I can go all night on this. Also, again, stop minimalizing Rachel Oates and Gabby Hanna's issues.
And I think you've been caught up in some just crossfire where she's had a war with all of these drama channels, commentary channels who have been at her. Like for the Bianca Devon stuff, I think that's really where it kind of like clicked that she just can't trust them. And then June came, she started calling them her narcissistic abusers. And it's kind of just stuck with her. She's come back and she's gone on a warpath. She's trying to tell everyone her story. I think you've just copped it all.
I don't think Rachel just got caught in the crossfires, because when Rachel made her tweet, it was right after Gabby had gotten offline. Gabby never responded to any of it, any of the claims at that time. Okay, so I guess we have to remind everyone of the timeline. So she never responded to any of the claims. And then the issue of Rachel Oates and the new narrative that Gabby Hanna sent Rachel Oates her book and asked her to review it, and then got mad because she reviewed it. That whole narrative that Rachel Oates created, yeah. So that's actually a story that people use against Gabby. So to say Rachel got caught in the crossfires, bitch, Rachel jumped into them.
One thing that stuck out to me was that Gabby had only gone at Rachel's videos for their titles. All titles and thumbnails are as SEO. That's trying to get it, get it noticed by viewers, so it trends, so you can actually get views.
Yeah,
and that's where we're at with YouTube these days.
That's like so much of what my channel's about. It's like you get people interested with these like, slightly outrageous titles or shocking title. That's what marketing is. You hook people with an emotional response, and then once they're in there and they're invested in the video, you hit them with a bit of sneaky education, and they're learning before you realize it.
So clickbait then? Because your titles just, I don't know. If your titles have nothing to do with your video, then that's clickbait. But your titles tend to be like, Gabby Hanna's poetry is bad. And then your video's about how Gabby Hanna's poetry is bad. Am I wrong? Did I... Is there secret videos where your title says Gabby Hanna's poetry is bad, and then you don't talk about how bad her poetry is for an hour and 15 minutes?
When she went on a rant about me for not liking the Bo Burnham poetry book, I'm like, she clearly didn't watch that video, because in the first minute, I say, oh, I'm actually a huge fan of Bo Burnham and I love this and this and this. And then half the video is spent analysing poems in that book that I really enjoyed and really liked. And then the other half of the video is talking about the poems that I didn't like so much and how they could have been improved. And a big chunk of my criticism was that it works better as a performance piece than it does as poetry. I made a whole other video literally titled Bo Burnham is a Genius, where I went through and analysed a bunch of his song lyrics that I thought were great. And Gabby completely ignored that when she was like, oh, Bo Burnham only gets one video. It's like, no, he gets two, but only one of the titles fits your agenda.
Oh, of course. Bo Burnham got two. What's Gabby's issue? I mean, okay, sure. Gabby got 2, 4, 6, 8 or 10 videos. But Bo Burnham got two. Okay, so oh my God, what the fuck?
So other than the review of Dandelions, Rachel didn't engage with Gabby for more than 6 months.
She said I've been harassing her for months, and I'm like, there's nothing, there's no, I don't have Twitter to do it, I haven't posted anything on Instagram, I haven't posted anything on YouTube, I haven't tagged her anywhere in anything. There's been no interactions in that entire time, and I thought that maybe there was something actually wrong and that she actually needed some help. And then she posted that thing on Patreon about how she was trolling for attention and stuff, and I was a bit is that an excuse because you don't want to admit there's something, or is that what you're actually doing? And it just left me confused. But the fact is, she just read the video titles and called me a bunch of names. And it's bizarre to me. It's absolutely bizarre. I don't know what she was looking for other than to just upset me and cause some drama.
Well, let's ask that question of you, Rachel. What were you looking for when you tweeted that Gabby Hanna sent your friend to talk to you and try to convince you and manipulate you into removing your review video? Tell me, what were you after other than to hurt her and cause fucking drama. Oh. Anyways, so that's the end of the Rachel Oates BWC interview. As you can see, I had a lot of issues. But thanks to this commenter, I was able to go see an edited version of Rachel Oates' pinned comment under her YouTube channel, or YouTube video, I should say, because it wasn't her channel, it's on her video. My bad. But yeah, under there. And so let's dive into that real quick. Update. All the respect I had for Gabby for growing and reaching out and sending me this book, gone completely. Straight after this video was published, she went crying to our one and only mutual friend about it in an attempt to guilt trip me and ask I not make any more. Sorry, I'm so over all that childish drama. You sent me a book, it got reviewed. That's how the world works. Oops, edit, my mistake. I misunderstood. She went crying to him about me making the review before I published it, and he only told me after it was published. It was never explicitly said it was a guilt trip, but I see no other reason for either of them to say anything, reach out other than to get me to change, stop, take down my review. But it still stands that she reached out to me and sent me her book with the implication that I'd review it, and then cried to our only mutual friend about being messed up over the fact that I was reviewing it. I only did what she asked for, and her going to Jimmy like that feels like an intentional way to stir the pot. A review is a review. I reviewed the book, not Gabby. Telling me Gabby is scared of your review or whatever is not going to change the content of the book, and therefore not going to change how I review it. I stand by my review 100%, but also feel incredibly manipulated and disgusted by this whole situation. Gosh, there's a lot to unpack there, so let's get to unpacking. It was never explicitly said that it was a guilt trip, but I see no other reason for it. Oh, just like it was never explicitly said that Gabby Hanna sent you her book to review it. And yet, you saw no other reason for it. You see how, it's kind of, I don't know, manipulative, maybe? And here she says that she sent her the book with the implication that she'd review it, not that she sent you the book and specifically asked for it. And yet, this was edited after your Twitter shit, okay? The BWC interview was more recent. So which is it? Did she send the book with the implication, or did she send the book and specifically ask for it? You see how I don't know, should I say it again? Manipulative. This is Rachel. Cry to our friend about being messed up. I don't know, like how you cry to everyone about being messed up over the shit you started with Gabby. or you're messed up over Gabby responding 6 months later. And then she says, I only did what she asked me for. So was it an implication, or did she ask for it? You're literally contradicting yourself in one paragraph, sentence after sentence. A review is a review, sure, but that's not what you fucking did. That's not all you did. Lord, I reviewed the book, not Gabby. It's Gabby's book that she literally says was about her life, and she put her life into this book. So, I mean, technically, yeah, you reviewed Gabby because you reviewed Gabby's poetry. You reviewed Gabby's ability to create. What the fuck? That's like saying this video isn't about you. It's about your ability to understand and comprehend things. Like, what the fuck? Does that even make sense? No, of course this video is about you. Holy shit. It's not a review on your actions. It's about you. Oh my Lord. I just, oh goodness gracious. Telling me Gabby is scared of your review or whatever is not going to change the content of the book. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. It's not going to change the content of the book, but it could possibly change just how vicious you are with your review. Maybe? Yeah, you think? Could maybe she thought your first review was just a bit vicious and she was afraid that you were going to be just as vicious, which you ended up being more vicious. I stand by my review 100%, but also feel incredibly manipulated and disgusted by this whole situation. Do you know how incredibly manipulative and disgusting you sound? Do you know how manipulative and disgusting you were on Twitter before you took it down? Not because Gabby fans bullied you into it. You took it down because you were embarrassed about how you were tweeting. So instead of using tweet delete, where you can delete up to all or even a week's worth of tweet and even set it up for automatic deletion, you just yeeted yourself off of Twitter because you couldn't handle criticism. You couldn't handle people criticizing you and being just a little bit mean. Oh no, goodness gracious. For someone who has so many issues with such a little thing that happened to you, you sure as hell have zero sympathy for anybody else. Which, to kind of close out everything, let's just close this out. Rachel motherfucking Oates. Jimmy isn't manipulative. Gabby wasn't manipulative in this situation. The manipulative person was you. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. Sorry it took so long, but once again, for all my new subscribers, I'm super lazy. I procrastinate, and I'm going to blame it on my ADHD, which I've been diagnosed since I was like 7. Like, I was diagnosed with ADHD when all there was for ADHD was Ritalin. If you don't know what Ritalin is, look it up. That's how long I've been diagnosed with ADHD. Okay, anyways. Oh, I thought it would be a little ode to some of the other drama that people call Gabby out for. But I hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, do all the good things, and comment and whatnot. And I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.